YouTube. I am finally back. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? Now, this is not a normal video. You know what I mean? Y'all see the title. Y'all see the thumbnail. This is my experience going to a psych ward for the first time. Are you guys ready for this story time? If so, lock in and get a couple snacks. Kick back, relax while you watch the juke yap. And without further ado, let's get to it. So you may be wondering, why did you go to the psych ward? How did you get there in the first place? What happened to you? I'm going to break it down. Listen here. I was basically going through it, you know what I mean? Had some bad negative thoughts on my mind. Thoughts that were on the topic of, I'm going to just put the word right here. It was not looking too good for your boy's mental health. But I wouldn't talk about it. I wouldn't talk to my family about it. I was very quiet and agitated and annoyed. So I was talking to my psychiatrist and I was just doing a whole bunch of this and a whole bunch of this without talking. She immediately said, take him to the ER. So that's when me and my mom hopped in the whip, went to the ER, and everybody was trying to figure out what was wrong with me. Mind y'all, I wasn't talking this entire time. The only thing I was doing was subtle movements, and when people asked me questions, I would just murmur or barely get any words out, and my psychiatrist immediately knew something was wrong, so she said, take bro to the ER. When I got to the ER, they had me sit on this little uncomfortable chair, and I'm gonna just put the picture up describing the chair right here. Bro, it was the most uncomfortable chair known to man, and I had to sit in it for however long I was there. So I'm sitting in this chair, right? My auntie and my mom are in the room with me, and for some reason they were giving me food. They gave me a chicken sandwich. Not a chicken sandwich, but like a chicken salad sandwich. Then they gave me tenders, and I didn't want to eat it because I just ate something. That's some big back activity if you just keep eating and stuffing your face. So I put it behind me on this little tray that they had behind my chair. And they also told me to put my belongings there. Now, they had what I guess is a psychiatrist come in and talk to me, asking me if I was seeing or hearing anything, and I still wouldn't just talk. I was just saying, and they was like, I'm guessing the people were like, oh, okay, he's unresponsive. We're going to have to send him to a facility. I wasn't told of any of that. I was just still in the white chair, just, sitting with auntie and mama. I didn't know what was going to happen. So at like 12 a.m., they finally came in. Someone with a doctor's lab coat came in and said, hey, we're going to have to take them to this facility. And in my head, I'm thinking, what type of facility are you about to take me to? What's going on? So I'm guessing my mom and my auntie agreed. And they came in with the little EMS stretcher thing. And I had to lay on it. And they took me to this facility. Now, I was so confused when I first got on that stretcher. I was like, where am I going? What's going on? They also had me change into these like different type of clothes. They were like blue clothes. These are the type of clothes they had me put on. Basically, they had me put on a blue hospital suit. So then I got transported into the facility. They wouldn't let my family see me, and I had to sit there. They were asking me if I took drugs from anybody, if I ever did this, ever did that. Basically a big questionnaire trying to see what was wrong with me and why I was put into that state. Just asking me questions about my well-being and what was going on with me. You know what I mean? And even then, I was still just doing this. I wasn't responding to the people at all because I didn't know them. And I was just thinking, what are y'all doing to me? Get out of my face. I don't know you. That's what I was truly thinking in my brain. They also had this security guard telling me to walk down a large alleyway before I got in there. And then they started asking me all the questions and stuff like that. I was awake from 12 a.m. all the way to the morning time when they started serving breakfast, which is around 8:30. I got no sleep that night. Absolutely none. So then after all that long time of me not sleeping, someone finally came into my room and they were weighing me and getting my height and stuff like that. Then some lady called me up and said, "Come up, it's time to go. I'm gonna only call you once. It's time for breakfast." And I'm just like, where am I? And then I look at the little thing they put in my room and it said that I was in a psych ward. And I'm just like, for what? What did I do? I walk out of my room and I see nothing but people I don't know just lined up in a line waiting to be let into the cafeteria. And I'm just like, what am I doing here? Why am I here? What is going on? So they opened the cafeteria door and they let us in and we sat down and they called us to get our food. My starter food when I got there was some grits, some sausage, and some eggs. They offered me coffee. I said no. I think I asked for water or something. And the first thing I do is get my tray and sit down, right? This random white man comes out of nowhere, looks at me and says, "You was talking all that?" I said in my mind, "What are you talking about, Brody? I do not know you, bro." He literally just tried to intimidate me, talking about some, "You was talking all that mess." I don't know what you're talking about, buddy. Objection? So anyway, I just ignored him and started chowing down on my food. The first thing I did was just put my tray up and walk out. I didn't want to talk to anybody, to be honest with you. So I was just sitting down, watching TV. They had a little area where there was rocking chairs and you could watch the TV, dude. I was spamming the mess out of that area. I was just in there rocking in the chair, asking myself, why am I here? What's going on? I don't know what to do. So I'm just going to sit here calmly, watch TV, do nothing. Until a staff worker went there and sat right beside me and just asked me a barrage of questions. And I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, why are you asking me all these questions, dude? I know you care about my mental health state, but I don't like to be asked all these questions. First off, this junk felt like jail, bro. They still had me in this jumpsuit, this blue hospital fit, because I had no clothes with me. And they even took my photo, bro, just to give me some medicine. Yes, there was this little medicine slot where you had to stand there and the nurse would give you a cup and give you some water. And you had to hit the pill like this and drink the water. They started me off with something. I just wandered off. Just went into my own little world again because I don't know any of the people that are in this ward with me. So why would I start just communicating off the rip? You know what I mean? Had a bunch of people screaming out derogatory words like, oh, I can't even say I'm on YouTube. I'm not going to lie. Like the F slur, the PDF word, all that, bro. They were just screaming obscenities out, bro. And I was just to myself, bro. Because in my head, I'm thinking, what am I doing here, bro? Did I get caught up with something? Am I arrested? Then you had these police guards in there marching in there like it was the military or something, bro. They kept marching directly at me and telling me to go to my room, bro. But I wouldn't comply because I didn't want to go to my room, bro. I did literally nothing and they just kept telling me to go to my room. At this point, I still wasn't talking. So I finally went up to a nurse and asked why I was in there. And they told me that they were treating me for a catatonic state. It's a state where you can barely move. If you don't know what that is, I can tell you from experience that it's a state where you can barely talk. When you do talk, your words are slurred, and you have repetitive movements like walking, pacing, just doing repetitive actions and stuff like that. So that's the type of state I was in. I just didn't know it. Let me explain the rooms to y'all too, bro. You had a makeshift bed. It wasn't a real bed at all. It was like this blue little pad that you could lay on with one blanket, a singular blanket, a singular pillow, a singular blanket. That was it, bro. That was it. And it was propped up against this little thingy that they had the blue mat attached to. In your room, you had that. You had a makeshift toilet. Not a makeshift toilet. It was an actual toilet, but you had to turn around and press a button for it to flush. You had your shower in front of you in one corner, and then you had a sink to brush your teeth at, wash your face at. You know what I mean? Okay, it was pretty nice. You know what I mean? Wasn't too bad. Now, the crazy thing about this place is the first time I tried to take a shower, they immediately busted in my room and said, "Come on, buddy, you need to take everything off for you to take a shower. Let's go." I'm just like, What is this, prison? You gonna demand me to take my clothes off? Didn't you just break a law? And while I was in the shower, they were talking and making it seem like they were watching me. I'm just like, bro, that's a crime, bro. What are you talking about, bro? So I'm minding my business, right? Just chilling, sitting on this little area in the facility, right? I get up, start walking, and the same white man that said I was talking all that mess walks up to me, shakes my hand, holds my hand like this, and says, love you, while winking at me in the weirdest way possible. When I tell you the amount of disgust that filled my body when he did that, just triggered me into this state where I just wanted to punch him. But I knew I couldn't punch him, so I just snatched my hand away and just walked off like this. Now, if that was an old me, I probably would have said something rude to that man. But I held my tongue because I didn't want to get in trouble. You know what I mean? Bro, that was just weird, bro. They had to separate me and him. Then the weird thing about it is he proceeded to call me the F slur while he walked off. Like he didn't just try me on some sweet stuff, bro. That's crazy. I don't know what Buddy had going on, but I wasn't with it, bro. I wasn't with it. Anyway, there was nurses that would constantly check up on me while I was there and ask me certain questions, like if I was okay, did I need anything, you know, doing their job. They had a little place in there where you could color, a place where you could watch TV, a place where you could just sit down and calm down, you know what I mean? And you had your rooms. So it wasn't too bad of a facility. Now, the things I saw in there changed my life, and I'm going to tell you about them right now. There was some people that was in there just counting out loud and, you know, counting on their fingers like this. I was trying to walk to my cell and someone screamed out curse words at me on some weird stuff. I'm just like, what did I do to you? So I just kept walking and act like they didn't talk to me because I didn't want to show them that I was scared. Like, well, why would I show them that? And I guess this one guy was hallucinating. He jumped at the wall and hurt himself, bro. They had to bring in a stretcher and everything, bro. I was so traumatized by that. I was just like, bro, what is going on? All the other patients were kind of like chaos filled and were just doing a whole bunch of other stuff. There was only 2 patients that I talked to, bro. I even sat down with them and had a game of Sorry with them. The board game Sorry. I played that game with them, bro. They were pretty cool. Now, at this psych ward, I did have something called visitors. My mom and my auntie visited me along with my birth family and some other notable members that, you know, knew me from my childhood and, you know, that I knew, like some of my mentors even came visited me. That experience was pretty nice. I had to talk to psychiatrists. They kept asking me if I was seeing or hearing anything. They had these little activities for you to do. Like you could write, you know, what your goals are on a piece of paper. We even got to do arts and crafts. That was pretty fun though. There were even instances where I would just wake up in the middle of the night and walk out of my room and they would just tell me to go back to my room and say nothing's going on right now. Go back to sleep, buddy. I'm just like, I want to go home, bro. I was in there for 2 solid weeks, bro. 2.5 weeks. Now, the first couple of days I was there, I was confused as to what they wanted me to do. And the only thing they wanted me to do was literally, this is so crazy, they just wanted me to talk. And I wouldn't talk to them. I wouldn't even talk to my own family members when they were visiting me, bro. I would just shake my head yes, shake my head no, bro. Just like these. Because I could barely talk. When I did talk, it would sound like this. I'm just like, bro, I'm not talking if that's what's going to come out of my mouth, bro. The place wasn't that bad, though. You got to play basketball. There was a gym in there. You got to do activities, like I said. And they had a TV lounge area. It was pretty nice. They even had a seclusion room where you could just sit to yourself and be quiet while reading the Bible. And yeah, also got into an altercation with this one patient because she was getting on my nerves. And when I told the nurses, they wouldn't believe me, bro. She started like trying to bully me, and I don't like when people do that to me. So I was just trying to distance myself and, you know, leave her alone. But she called me something I didn't like that I can't say on YouTube. And I reported it, and she didn't get in trouble for it, bro. They just let her go with a warning. I'm just like, bro, are you serious, bro? She claimed that I said something to her at the basketball court and nothing even happened, bro. Nothing happened. And she was trying to get in my head saying that she was a better singer than me and all this other stuff. And I was just like, bro, what are you talking about, bro? Now, to be honest, I didn't feel like doing anything in there. So I wasn't really doing much of the activities. The only thing I would do was play basketball, bro. That's the only thing that piqued my interest in there. I only had one episode in there, bro. I thought I was being persecuted. So I put my hands up like this. And I was crying and stuff. And I was like, I don't want to go to jail. You know, I swear I did nothing. You know, stuff like that, bro. It was kind of sad. And they wouldn't let me have any visitors that day since I had an episode. So I stayed there for approximately 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. And I had to go to court. Yes, I had to go to court just to say that I had this medicine and that I need this medicine by law. So I went to court the first time and I failed it because I didn't say anything. They were expecting me to say something. I didn't say anything. I was told I was going home by the social worker, but, you know, I obviously didn't go home because I failed court. And they just did court with me sitting in and doing activities. And I guess they deemed me mentally unfit to go to court. And they sent me home. I gathered all my belongings, said farewell to the friends I made there, went on home. My uncle and my aunt picked me up. And that was that, man. I know y'all probably looking for a crazy story, like some fight broke out or something like that, but the psych ward I was at was pretty chill for the most part. You know, they had security guards in there making sure that nothing was, you know, going to go down like that, stuff like that. They always separated people that had issues with each other. And the nurse and staff were pretty nice, so I'll give it a thumbs up. Still not going back, though. Anyways, chat, that is my experience in my first psych ward experience. I just broke down everything to you. Oh, yeah, they also gave me 1 year to this mental health facility that I have to go to voluntarily. It's not a facility, it's a building. And I go there and have, you know, meetings with my psychiatrist and my doctors and stuff like that. You know, get my medicine there and everything. But yeah, that's pretty much it, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. If y'all have any questions for me, leave it down below and I'll answer them. And yeah, Juke Squad family, green and purple hearts in the comments down below. You already know what to do. And until next time, Jukebox Juke is out. Peace, y'all.